Hello there and welcome to the second of our videos following our workshop on Wednesday 10th of February, of which we looked at moderation through digital collaboration. What we're going to show you today is just some of the actions that you might be able to take within the notebook around about the actual quality assurance discussions that you have planned. So just to recap, this is one of our templates that we've put into our PLC notebook. So I'll open up the tab just to remind you. So we set up this tab here for our trio, Writing Folio 2. We set up 4 pages or 4 opportunities for moderation. We had our system in place for naming each of the pages, so discursive 1, 2, 3 and 4. And now myself and Janet are here as 2 members of a trio, accessing the evidence and starting to record our impressions. So we are in discursive 1 here, and actually what I'm going to do, just for the sake of the screen, is I'll expand the tab so that you can see all of that a little bit better. What we're going to do is, I'm first of all I'm imagining that in advance of my discussion with Janet and our other partner, we don't have another partner today, but we'll just imagine that we do. In advance of our discussion, I want to access the material, so I want to access the evidence, I want to access the marking instructions. So just a quick reminder that all I would have to do in order to do that is just double click on the PDF and it will download for me. And you can't see that, but that's actually downloading on another screen, and I'm opening that up. And I can open up my marking instructions too, and I can toggle between those. I'll download that as well, and both of those things are open for me. And I'm taking a little bit of time to read through the evidence, and I'm taking a bit of time to just refamiliarise myself with the marking instructions. And now I've gained a few impressions and I am ready to record some impressions in our pro forma. Now we've agreed in our trio that we're going to record some impressions even in advance of us meeting up. So if you come down here, we've decided to use this wee template here for this purpose. Janet is teacher 1 and I'm teacher 2. So some comments that I want to make about the piece of work that I've been looking at. Well, I can see that the candidate has had, I'm just typing this in, a clear stance. At times, I'm going to qualify that a little bit, so it hasn't been that obvious what their position is on the argument, but it is mildly discernible. I know that they've taken cognizance of the positives and the negatives. So I'm just going to say the positive and negative points were addressed. We did another thing that they needed to do, which was use supporting evidence. So, and I can go on like that and continue to type up my comments in my own time. Now, actually, it so happens that at the same time as I'm doing this in another place, in her own time, Janet's also been typing in her comments, and you can see that she started to do that. She's going to continue to type in, and as our 2 notebooks sync with each other, you should start to see her comments beginning to appear on the screen. So Janet, if you just continue typing just now, and I'll continue typing my comments in at the same time. Now, you don't have to do it like this, but it's just really to demonstrate to you that we are working within a collaborative space. Some more things that I want to say. I'll just keep putting some points in. The linguistic features were used adequately. kind of qualify that as well. It could be clearer, you know. So candidate was obviously trying to be persuasive. And when I was looking at the piece, particularly focusing in, there's some more of Janet's comments are also appearing as we're going along. Coming back to my own impressions and my own thoughts, I thought that the sentence structure, sometimes this person just got a wee bit carried away with sentence structure, so there were some overlong sentences. Now, it really depends on what your subject is and what your practices are. You might write comments in as much detail as this. The details might be different. We're just really working with this piece in English just as purely as a demonstration. And just a reminder, the piece that we have uploaded is something that we've just taken from the Understanding Standards site. So it's actually quite handy for me. I'm thinking ahead now to my meeting with Janet and with our partner, and she's saying a few things that we sort of connect on, and other things maybe that I haven't thought of. So she's got too many lists in places. It gets a bit listy. So that, I think for me, that part of the exercise is completed. Janet, have you completed your comments as well?
Yes, I have, thank you.
Okay, so what have we done so far then? So we've been able to asynchronously, if you like, access the evidence and the marking. We've had a wee bit of a think about it. Now we're thinking ahead to our discussion and actually getting together. So moving on, maybe a few hours later, maybe a couple of days later, depending on what arrangements we've made. We've set up a Teams meeting. We've both opened up the PLC notebook, and now we're going to have our discussion about the evidence. So in order to do that, we're going to use, this is just another template table which you can use, you can adapt. We're just going to work within this one here. So I'm just going to make up some names. The presenting teacher is our imaginary third person, so I'll just call her Mrs. A. Teacher 1 is Janet. Teacher 2 is me, and we're getting together and we're going to have our discussion. So imagine Janet and I are meeting. Janet, who are we going to agree is going to type in the agreed comments? Would you like
I can do that.
You
I can
would
do
like
that
to
if you like, yeah.
Fabulous, that's great. Okay, so we've got together. We're having our discussion around about the piece of evidence that we've looked at. Now, we're not going to go through that whole discussion together with you just now, but some things that we've agreed on. What kinds of things should we put in there? I think we're both happy with. We're both agreed that we can see that this candidate is engaged with their topic. There's a bit of sort of personal investment, but what else would we say, Janet?
I think we could go for clear engagement and clear stance. Yeah,
sounds good to me. So I'm not typing at the moment, but gradually you'll see on the screen that the comments that we're agreeing are appearing as we're talking.
And then if we want to say something about structure and expression.
Yep, sounds good to me, yeah. I think we were both agreed, excuse me, that expression really needed to be tightened up to for this candidate to score one maybe in the higher range.
We maybe say adequate but could be tightened in places.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So now we could go on and we could carry on through and cover all bases, but we won't do that just now. Once we've completed that discussion, though, we think that we've agreed on a mark, and the mark that we've agreed on, I think, well, I would say a 9.
I would agree with that.
So if we can add that into our template, if you wouldn't mind doing that, Janet, that would be great.
That's done.
So that will appear in a wee moment as our notebooks sync up. There's also space there, and again, all of these parts of the template are optional, and it's really up to you which bits that you use and what suits the way that you would conduct the discussion. But maybe we've included a space there for the original person, for Mrs. A, to come back and maybe say, happy with this, agree with my colleagues' judgment. If you feel that kind of thing is necessary or helpful, that's something that you can do. We might have a final agreed mark. We might agree further action. We might say that we're going to share this with other colleagues. Really, absolutely up to you what you put in your columns, what you put into the tables, how you structure the discussion and how you structure the record. But really, all we wanted to demonstrate was just the fact that this is a collaborative space. And what we'll do is we will end there. Thanks very much.
Thank you.